Hey everyone! You're listening to the podcast Trust the Process, a safe space where you will hear from us women balancing their fitness and health while life goes on. Balanced diet, muscle gain, fat loss, new motherhood, getting back in shape, menopause onset, and so many topics to cover. This is your host, Shanthi. I'm based in Malaysia. I'm a cybersecurity specialist, a wife, a mom to two boys and one dog, a musician, an avid reader, and a globetrotter, and of course, a fitness enthusiast. And welcome everyone to our very special episode.
Indeed, a very special episode due to two reasons. But before we dive into the reasons, let me introduce myself. I'm your host, Yasha, based in Singapore. I'm professionally a cloud technologist, a visual artist, a wife, a mother, a dog mom, and most importantly, a fitness enthusiast. But hey, I want to add something to my intro now that I am a proud Hyrox athlete. After completing my first Hyrox at Asian World Championship recently held at Singapore. So, coming back to our special episode, firstly, because it is Singapore National Day today, happy 60th birthday to Singapore.
Oh, happy birthday, Singapore! And the second reason for this episode to be very special is we have our first guest speaker with us today. Our first guest episode, Yasha. Aren't you excited?
Yay! Shanti, did you realize among all the excitement that both you and I have, we haven't shared the topic of today's episode?
Oh, well, I think it was intentional because you did mention about your Hyrox participation, right? So today's episode is indeed a welcome call to our guest. From gym floors to global arena, Hyrox with April Kong. Welcome, April, to the 10th episode of our podcast, Trust the Process. We are so glad you're here with us.
Hi, ladies.
Very warm welcome, April. So, before I hand over to April, let me tell you all that today we are diving into a fitness trend that's exploding globally. And it's not just another gym fad, it's called Hyrox. A race that's tough, empowering, and honestly kind of addictive. Whether you are a regular lifter, a runner, or just curious about how women like you are crushing this endurance challenge, this episode is for you. And April is our country ambassador for Hyrox Singapore. Who better than April to hear all about Hyrox from? And April is not only the Hyrox country ambassador, but she has multiple feathers in her cap when it comes to fitness. We are so glad to bring her to our podcast such that we all can learn from her inspiring story of representing at various global platforms. So, without further ado, April, drum rolls, welcome again. We want to know who is April inside and outside of Hyrox. So, over to you.
Hi, Yasha. Hi, Shanti. And hi, everyone on the podcast listening on it. My name is April Kong, and I'm one of the F45 global athletes representing Asia as well as Singapore, too. I am also, as what Yasha say, I am a Hyrox ambassador for Singapore, too. And I'm really happy and excited to be on this podcast today. So, as you guys know, I'm an F45 athlete. So, we go around the F45 motivating people as well, and as well for Hyrox too. The fact that Hyrox have been in Singapore since 2023, so there have been a number of races since then as well. And I'm very excited not to see just people getting onto podiums, but people who have not done Hyrox as well are wanting to try and give Hyrox a good challenge for themselves too. But apart from that, I've been in fitness all my life, but interesting fact about me is that I graduate as a degree student in theater. So
Wow. Wow.
yeah, that is a surprise to everybody because everyone sees me on IG story and thought I'm all about fitness and fitness since young. I was active, thanks to my mom and dad. But I graduate as a degree in theater. So moving forward to why I decided to dive into fitness and do that full time as well, that is also because I want to motivate and encourage people and help people in terms of their fitness as well. Like no matter what fitness level you are, I don't have to motivate an athlete to be an exceptional and elite one. I would like to motivate people who, fall out of fitness, wanting to get back into fitness, have never done exercise before, to be motivated to tell themselves that, hey, fitness is not something scary. And even though you've not done it before, or you've not done it in a long while, or even after you just give birth, you shouldn't be afraid to get back into fitness, because it's always, what's that word? You will always feel a sense of achievement, when you've done something and achieved in terms of like fitness, getting your first Hyrox like what Yasha has did, I'm sure you feel very,
Yeah,
like accomplished. That's the word. You feel accomplished that you've
yeah,
done it.
yeah.
And I am very sure that you will want to do it again.
Yeah, and I mean it's a feeling better than anything else, you know? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like you get your degrees, you get your other achievements, but it's I would say it's competing with those.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is exactly the ethos of Trust the Process podcast as well. Like Yasha and I, we have our full time jobs. We have our plates full. But again, we also wanted to motivate women as much as we can, and that's how Trust the Process really actually was born early this year. And we are so excited that our values actually match, right? So
Mm.
even before we dive deep into who April is, I think we should tell our audience what Hyrox is. So maybe we could just spend a moment about what Hyrox exactly means, and then we can go deep into your story.
Okay. So what Hyrox is, it's a functional competition between endurance as well as functional strength as well. So in total there are 8 stations, but in between all these 8 stations, you have to do 1 kilometer of run before you get onto the various functional stations. In Hyrox, there are a number of categories. You either do a singles open or a singles pro, whether it's a male or female, or you can do a women's doubles open, women's doubles pro, men's doubles open, men's doubles pro, or mixed double, which is both male and female, and as well as the team relay category as well. In that team relay category, you get to do women teams, men's team relay, or a mixed team relay for that too.
Right, right.
Yeah,
So, what are the 8 stations? I know a few thanks to Yasha,
yeah.
because even before Yasha signed up for Hyrox, I was like, "What the hell is this? What are you talking about? Why are you changing your goals?" And she said, "No, there's something coming up in July. Was it in
Yeah.
July, Yasha? It was
It
just
was in
us.
June end. Yeah,
It
it was
was
in
in
June
June.
end.
Yeah, yeah." And she was like, "Oh, this is a different animal altogether. It's my first time." So,
Yeah.
what are the different stations for people who want to sign up for Hyrox?
So the 8 stations are you gonna, so as I mentioned, every station before that you will have to do 1 kilometer or run first. But the eight
Right,
stations are starting with your ski, and then sled push and pull, and then you're gonna get onto your burpees, and then to rowers, then to farmers carry, lunges, and ending off with wobbles.
right, right. Wall balls, Yasha, your favorite.
Yeah, my favorite in the wrong way. I will get to that, yes.
Yeah.
Um uh, April, we talked about High Rocks and we talked about you being the Singapore ambassador for High Rocks. What is your journey in becoming Singapore ambassador of High Rocks? How does that feel and what does that mean?
So, since Hyrox came to Singapore in 2023, and before that, I've been doing F45 for, I would say, end of this year will be 9 years already. But before that, F45 all day, every day for that years. Then Hyrox came, and I need a new challenge in for me. So when Hyrox came in, I was like, oh, this is really good, because F45, it's functional. Hyrox stations are functional as well. So this is where I decide to put myself into that test to see, where I am at in terms of my fitness level. And hence, I decided to give it a go. The challenging part would be the running, because with F45, we've not done a running But ever since Hyrox come in, F45, we have a signature program as well. So with F45, we always have our run clubs, we have our signature Hyrox programs, and that really helps to enhance our training program to prepare ourselves for Hyrox as well. What got into that? So after I got into the race, I was being then reached out to, if I want to be the ambassador for Hyrox for Singapore. I thought really hard back then. I was like, oh, why is it me? There's so many people who are in the elite level. Through since then till now, I came to realize that I don't have to be the forefront to always be at the top of the podium. Anyone can be at the podium, right? I mean, I can be if I want to as well, but I think for me, the most important thing is to encourage people who have not done Hyrox, motivate them and let them know that, hey, it's not intimidating to do Hyrox. Because I know on social media, it always shows people who are really fit getting onto the podium, first, second, third,
Yeah.
getting onto the championship. And I too love that as well. But I think the biggest skill that I want to achieve is to actually get people who have not done it before. I think that is the most inspiring part for me as well. When I see them achieving stuff, I feel inspired myself.
I
So
think
yeah.
that's the true meaning of being an ambassador, right?
Yeah.
That's you are nailing it. I remember, I mean, I had a fantastic coach for myself who helped me prepare for Hyrox without injuries, without penalties. But I remember watching all your videos on Instagram, each station, and it was a real help. I'm telling you. So you're doing a great job as
Thank
ambassador.
you. Thank you.
I think it's also the whole meaning of a sport, right? Like it's not just your solo thing. Although you train, even if you're training solo for High Rocks, it still means that you have your family and friends who are constantly being your pillar of strength to get through such a difficult thing. If you're doing it for the first time, or if you're doing it even for the fifth time, it could be intimidating. I remember Yasha saying, Shanti, it was more difficult than childbirth. I was like,
I
I
felt
was
like that at certain times.
yeah, but as someone who has never done a competitive race like Hyrox, for people like me, I am very interested to know about your typical training week, April. Like,
Mhm.
how do you balance your endurance, your strength, and especially recovery? How do you do that?
So as I've mentioned before, that my training goes around with F45, and I train F45 6 days a week maximum. I never train 7 days a week because I want to have that one day of rest. And even if I feel that, even if my body feels like I've overtrained, I will end up make sure that I have one more day of rest. So that which is will be 2 days of rest in a week. But apart from that, with F45, the trainings are always split between cardios and resistance days or hybrid days. Our Mondays and Wednesday are cardio day, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sunday are strength day. And then Fridays and Saturdays are hybrid, which is a mix of cardio and resistance days. So I choose within the days that I want to do my cardio as well as my resistance. And on top of that, it is my runs as well. As you guys know, Hyrox, you need to get your runs in, or rather, train your cardiovascular base, right? So running is not a forte of mine, and I try to balance out my running with my the days that I'm training for strengths and with F45 as well. My Wednesday mornings are interval runs with my fellow teams at Five Stigler. We go to the studio at our international school that's close by with us, and we all gather 7 a.m. in the morning and do interval runs every Wednesday with a 12-week program. Um, and then followed by then it will be our own time with zone 2 runs, or just getting onto the bike and cycle for 40 to 45 minutes for our zone 2s as well. So this is how I typically do my Hyrox trainings, and this is how I train for them. When in terms of coming into recovery, I do my stretches at home, or literally there are days where I don't do anything at all, and if I feel like I don't want to work out, I don't want to work out. And the other most important thing for us women, it will be our time of the month, our period. That plays a big part of a role in our training and recovery as well, because sometimes if my period is here and I go like, I need to get this workout in, but I feel very lethargic, right? so long as I come to the gym and move, I think that's most important. That said, I think this is another whole new conversation when it comes to our period,
Yeah,
especially for women as well. It's not
yeah.
easy as guys would think because
Yeah, yeah, I
we
know.
have
I mean,
yeah,
I'm glad you were saying that. I was about to think that will you say that skip the gym, but you said just go to the gym, just move your body. And
yeah,
I learned that hard way, right? Because when we were growing up, our mothers and sisters and everyone would tell that just take rest, just don't even lift your finger. And then the whole mentality changed that no, actually if you walk, if you do a little bit in the gym, then it's even better. So I'm glad that you are saying that, and hopefully people are listening.
Yeah, I mean,
that said also it depends on individuals women bodies. So some women when the periods are here they have very bad cramps on the first and the second day that they can't get up or even go to the gym. That's totally fine. I think the most important thing is to just listen to your body. But once that's done, if you're on your third, fourth day, no more cramps, and you still want to move, please come to the gym. Even if you don't want to go all out or lift your usual heavy weights or go as fast as cardio in your cardio class, that's fine. Just let your trainer know, hey, I'm on my, you don't want to say period. I like to say strawberry season. So I just go, I'm on to my women's month or strawberry season. I'm not going to go as much or as fast or heavy as I can. Because as you know, when your period is coming and when your period is here, and if you over push, sometimes it might lead to having injury after. So this other thing is just as important as well.
no, I love the word strawberry season. I think I'm going to
Yeah.
steal it.
Yeah.
No, but it's so true in my case, especially, right? Personally, I have seen that ever since I've started working out very regularly, as opposed to my previous years where I was fairly active but never have been a gym addict or a gym bug at least. Um, I see a difference in how I deal with my periods right now. Like earlier, as Yasha said, we would really not lift a finger until 4 days because our mothers and sisters said that, because that was the way we were afraid to do something or lift something heavy. But as soon as I started gymming, I realized that my energy bounced back on my third day, like, and I'm ready to go back to lifting or even doing cardio and stuff like that. So it does play a very, very important role. But yes, it's very important to listen to our bodies as well. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I am going to ask you a technical question now, April.
Okay.
So, yeah, so speaking about my own experience, and I think a lot of people want to hear about that. There's so much going on Instagram and social media as well that, hey, if you are into building your muscles and, abs and all that, you have a certain program to achieve that. You have a certain diet and a certain fat percentage so that you can see those visible abs. But when the events like Hyrox comes in between, and it's not a very easy thing as well as we are hearing. You have to put in at least 90 days of effort in preparing if it's your first like mine. Um, there was a worry that hey, what if I'll lose all my muscles, or not all, but what if I will just digress from the path? So I want to know what are your thoughts about still retaining muscles during Hyrox focus training? Not 100%, but is there a way that or is it really true what people are saying on social media that if Hyrox, then no muscles?
I wouldn't say if you're doing a lot of high rocks, you will not have muscles. You will have lean muscle mass. But with that comes with a lot of things, I wouldn't say that if you do a lot of running, you will not gain muscle mass. One most important thing is to know what type of body each individual woman or person has. If, for example, I myself, I know that it's very hard for me to lose body fat, that means my intensity has to be very high. However, if I eat a good amount of protein, I'll be able to gain lean muscle mass. That said, again, coming back to your question, when you're doing a lot of high rocks, you're running a lot, people tend to lose muscle mass. Yes, you will. How to retain that? Nutrition, eating a good amount of protein, as well as knowing um, your lifts that you are lifting for. in terms of strength. Okay, so like for example, say a very good example for someone who is a very good runner or a long distance runner, right? They have been doing long distance running, marathon running. Then when they came to know about Hyrox, obviously the running base for zone twos for them are very easy, but they might not have that strength because if they train to do an open weight for sled push or pull, they need strength. uh, you need to, when you're doing wall balls for 100 reps of 4 kg, you need that shoulder strength and leg strength as well. So how do you train that? You need to first off know your base weights that you're lifting. If you're doing training for shoulder presses, if you're starting off with 2 kg, say for example a marathon runner, when they start doing shoulder press, all they lift was maybe a 5 kg. But then when they in that maybe 3 months of programming or how that trainer programs for them, from 5 kg shoulder press, maybe they can increase to 10 kg shoulder press. That will help you to gain lean muscle mass along with your nutrition, rest, as well as having sufficient of water in their body as well. So I would say this will be a very good an example on how you can retain your muscle mass. For someone who wants to know whether their muscle has gained or lost, whether is it a wide amount or a very little amount of muscle loss, the best way is before you start your training program or plan, weigh yourself first. And I'm not saying the home weighing scale. Go to a proper weighing machine, go to a PT and or even a doctor and get a full
Yeah.
proper body composition to be able to see body fat percentage, muscle mass as well. And then that was the start of your program. Then after that, at the end or towards the end, measure yourself again, or even like every 2 weeks once, measure again and see whether there's an increase. From there, you'll be able to know what you are doing is right. If your muscle mass increase or maintained, that means what you're doing for every 2 weeks or so in that block, you're doing it right. So you're going to keep doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, April. I think yes, you're right. And in my case, I did measure myself. I did lose around 4 to 5% of my muscles, but that's okay. I think that's worth doing a high rocks. And I'm sure this myth is debusted now after we have heard from April. It's not just about losing muscles if you do high rocks, so don't be worried about it.
Yeah. Okay, so we will go on to the next question now. I'm very interested to also know, you did mention about this, about your recovery, how important it is that you don't train all 7 days a week. And Yasha and I, we actually did an episode prior to this about how important it is to pause and restore. We talked all about the science of rest, right? So, how do you actually maintain your fitness regime alongside your work, family, social life? I just saw your Insta stories. You were traveling all over Europe.
Yeah.
And especially, what is your recovery advice for females considering their hormonal cycles?
I think in terms of recovery, I would say over the past few years, recovery has been very upfront on social media and also with Hyrox as well, because everyone is running a lot, training a lot more. So recovery is just as vital as if you compare maybe 4 years ago, right? Everyone 4 years ago was just like, oh, lift heavy, just go to the gym 7 days a work. But now you have Hyrox, you have your normal training. So it's very important. For me, when it comes to how do I maintain my training regime out of my busy schedule, I think it all goes down to planning.
Yeah.
Um, say for example, because for me, my job requires me to travel very often. I would say 2 times a month. And if I know my schedule is up for say, for example, like next week, if I'm traveling to Indonesia and I know one, the food that I'm eating in Indonesia and Singapore is very different. Every time when I travel, I reach that country, I'll go to a grocery store. I make sure I have kombucha, I have kefir, or I have eggs inside, and make sure that I have my protein, a source of protein in there, just so that I don't eat way too much carb and not exercising enough. Also, at the same time, when I'm traveling for work, I make sure that one, I do studio visits in that studio, and then I make sure that I get a session in as well. So it's all comes down to your planning. Um, come to recovery, right, Shanti, as you were asking. a very good example, as you mentioned, because I traveled for a Europe trip, and that's a while. To be fair, it's very hard to recover and not work out, because you work out 6 days a week. You just want to keep going. I not gonna lie, I prepped a few sets of workout outfits, and I had my running shoe with me. I did one running session. I went to two gyms, a gym session in the hotel, and that was that in that long period of time. There were many times I just go like, oh, I drink a lot, I've been eating a lot, I need to exercise. But hey, at the end of the day, I'm glad that I have that break, because there were a number of times I was having very close back-to-back Hyrox races. Like the recent one I did was in June for Singapore. 5 days later, I went to Sydney, not just for work, but I was racing for Sydney as well with my husband. So
Wow.
given that short time frame of recovery and getting to race, I would say it's not the right way to do so. So,
Mm.
guys, if you are listening or watching this podcast, don't do that unless you're in the list, or if you know how to recover and get back on. So when I was in that situation, I was like, oh my God, I have only 5 days before the next race. I was pushing, but at the same time, I want to push for the next race. So what should I do? So I literally have like 4 days of resting to recover
Mm.
from the June one. Um, 2 days before the race, I went for a shakeout run with the team, and I went to an F45 class just to, get in some strength session in, just for
Right.
my body to move. So this is how I counter and not just totally rest. That is for the race.
That's
But
wonderful.
yeah,
That's
so yeah.
I can relate to your story of a Europe trip. I was also in Europe 2 weeks back. And yeah, Shanti and I have spoken about it so many times that it's so hard to rest when you
Mm-hmm.
are in the regime. And first week of holidays was like, no, I have to find a gym nearby. I was not living in a hotel. So I was like, okay, I will clock in a gym session. I'm walking 25K. And then next week it was like, I'm here for my vacation. I need my recovery. So I
Yeah.
can completely relate to what you're saying. Coming back to your story of back-to-back high rocks, oh my God, that could be very stressful and strenuous. On that point, I want to know, do you do you get self-doubt or performance pressure in competition? Because high rocks is a competition at all, right?
Yeah.
What keeps you motivated on your tough days when your body or mind resists training? So, how do you deal with the self doubt or the tough days?
Okay, so two topics to talk about. How do I fix the self-doubt during training on normal days as well as the race, right? So we're gonna talk about the normal training days. There will be days where I will go like, if I miss my morning session and I have to train in the evening, I'll go like, oh, I'm really tired, but it's like in the evening already, like 5:30, 6:30. I waited the whole day just to train in the evening. What I do is I get my husband to go with me, so I have someone to tag along with and motivate each other. Or I find a friend to do it with, or I I think I'm like any other normal people. I will find a motivational speech on Instagram or even video to motivate me and inspire me as well. Like, I have my race that's coming up. No, I have to get on. I will only rest 2 days after. So today I push no matter what. And even if I'm tired, I'm just, so long as I'm moving, right? Or just choose a hype up music, just to get going, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
If on days, like for example, if I have to train for a 6 a.m. class in the morning, but I train in the evening and I'm tired, that is a no situation. So what I do is I always pre-prep my shoe by the door, have my workout on the table or just nearby. Like when I get up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up. Okay, clothes are out there. Get going and get out to exercise. I think
Perfect.
these are my rituals in on normal days. Um, and by doing so, no matter how tired, after I finish the workout, I just go, okay, I'm thankful that I did the workout. Not 100% best, but I did it. But tomorrow is going to be even better. So just get your head in the zone. That's my normal training routine. When it comes to my ritual for handling the stress for the race, I have to make sure that I am 2 hours away before the race starts.
Hmm.
So what I do is, because with my with the work that I do, let's say if I have to be in Sydney for the race, but I'm working at the same time, and I'm scheduled, for example, I have to schedule to work from morning to 3 o'clock, and then my race is at maybe 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, right? So by the time I finish my shift, I make sure that I'm away from people, just so that I can get that head space and zone to prepare myself, um, whether have I drink enough throughout the day? Have I eat enough protein throughout the day? Am I rested? I'm standing the whole day. So what should I do in that 2 hours? I should stretch a lot. I should, stretch my quads out, my knees out, my joints out, prepare myself in that zone. And then after that, walk around the area to see where the stations are by myself, or even with someone, so I have minimal conversation with people, just to have myself that head space to be prepared for. And then when I get into the warm up area, I just make sure that I am maybe 15 minutes before the warm up, before the race starts. Because if I'm in the warm up area too long, I'll just go like, "Ah, I just need to keep moving
Yeah,
and warming up."
I
And
know.
by the time you do that, you'll go like, okay, am I overdoing it? Am I not overdoing it? So
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah,
that's yeah.
perfect. I think I'll summarize because I think you are elite in terms of fitness, right? People who are listening probably will think that, okay, yeah, that works for you, but what will work for us? So, in a way, let me summarize that normal days, but when you are resisting, your mind is resisting. To motivate yourself, and that's why we have those kind of Instagram feeds, right? So that it come out and tell us that no, you have to do it,
Yeah.
right? I on that there's a funny guy I follow, and he's always saying, "Go to gym. What are you doing? Go to gym." So that's one. And second is be prepared, right? You know that you might sulk or you might not get up in the morning. Have things ready around you so that it motivates you that you have to do it.
Yes.
Um, Wonderful. Thank you, April, about that. And
Welcome,
of course,
Yasha.
everyone has their own mental rituals leading to a competition or a race.
Yes.
But I think preparing yourself and absorbing the environment, not getting late and, oh my God, I'm late, I have to just do it. I
Yes.
think that's a very good advice. Be calm, take your time, look at your surroundings,
Mm-hmm.
and prepare.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, Yasha, I know you want to talk about nutrition, but also I have a very quick question which we could ask April about this. Like, you have been a part of F45 and been participating in Hyrox for like 2, 3 years now.
Yeah.
So it's relatively new. So, have you seen a shift in how women are now looking at participating in such races, specific to Asia and in Singapore? Like, have you seen a difference in how women look at it?
In terms of like Hyrox or trainings,
Just training, because I see a lot of awareness suddenly, because earlier gyms used to be mostly for men, right?
yeah.
The strength training would be mostly for men. They would lift weights and would look muscular, but women, we have seen a shift. But as a trainer, what's the difference you see, yeah, amongst women?
So in my home studio at F45 Sigla, the demographic has shifted, especially after COVID.
Oh,
It has the demographic of people doing F45, or rather doing strength for women, has increased. And also in terms of age demographic as well, we do have women that are of in the early 40s, late 40s, or even 50s or 60s coming to train as well, because I think the education side, or even doctors do educate their clients, or even patients, or even members, to is a must to do strength training, as you've aged, because it actually helps, I wouldn't say retaining the muscle that you had before, but at least you have certain percentage of muscle in your body for you to do certain stuff, or rather longevity wise. So yes, definitely I've seen a growth of women wanting to come to the gym to do strength training in that conversation. In terms of women participating in Hyrox, yes, I do see as well. Most of them will like to do it because they have someone to do it with.
right.
Like for example, Yasha, you did it alone. Maybe the next time Shanti will do it with you. You know.
Okay, so
Right.
how can we not talk about nutrition and end it, right? So let's talk about nutrition. Um, It's very important to fuel our trainings now that we're talking about all these competitive races and strength training as well. Do you follow a specific nutrition plan, April? And again, just touch base on the cardio needs of food versus fuel required for retaining muscles, especially when we're planning for Hyrox. So, yeah, again, two questions. One is, what is your normal regime of eating? Are you always on a diet, high protein, or you just do cycles? And second would be, let's talk about Hyrox nutrition as well.
Okay, so my nutrition regime is I used to uh, go for macro counts. So I would then calculate how many macros should I hit for protein, carbs, and fats every day. That was probably maybe 10 plus years ago. And then over the years, I shift to, trying out things where getting your calories in. With over the years of experience and trials, I more or less know how much calories I should take in a day, whether I'm training for peak or whether am I maintaining or losing weight as well. But my normal routine when I'm in Singapore, or if I have the access outside of Singapore, I will try to have 5 to 6 egg whites for my breakfast, plus on my coffee. On days where I feel like, when after my breakfast, I have like a French toast with a good friend of mine. So we go, okay, let's
Okay.
work out together, and then maybe every Friday we work out first in the morning, and then we go to, for example, Killiney's and have our French toast, because that's why we like with a bit of kaya, a little bit of freedom for that. And then in terms of nutrition, in terms of lunch and dinner, my husband and I, we do order nutritional meal prep food. So whether it's nutrition kitchen for 1 week, T2 square for another week. That's what we do, because both of us were very busy as well, so we don't really have the time to prepare our food. So that meal prep actually is very good for us, because in that meal prep it shows how many calories that we are taking in that day. Then from there I will know whether I'm under eating or am I overeating. I do love to have my blueberries in as well. It's low calories, as well as low carbs as well. So I have sweet tooth, so that will
Oh, low
be
cals. I thought you said glow cals, so
oh
it's all right.
yes, it is as well, because blueberry is antioxidant. So I like to freeze my
Yes.
blueberries because I have sweet tooth and like something sweet and icy. So freezing my blueberries is one of the best thing, like a snack. So that's my normal go-to. Obviously, on days where I need sugar, Kit Kat will be my quick and go-to as well. One bar of
Wow.
Kit
Okay.
Kat, one only,
I'm listening.
just to have that. But if you know that if you have a good, session workout, so that's that. So that's my normal routine. Weekends, I normally just let go a little, because I spend time with my husband or with my family as well. I still do eat rice, because then now talking on to the second part for High Rocks as well with nutrition, because we are running more and we are doing more high intensity work, our carb intake has to be slightly, a little bit higher than normal, than
Yeah.
in, for example, in my normal F45 training or my normal strength training program, because I need that carbs to fuel me up to go for that long distance or even trainings for more than an hour. F45 is a 45-minute session, 1 hour at most tops, or maybe with a F45 signature program for a 1 hour, 15 minutes. But if I'm training for more than that, I need to prepare myself to make sure that I have carbs before the race, before the
Yeah.
training,
Yeah.
and also after the training as well. Yeah. So with
Yeah.
normal
That
training
sounds about
routine
right.
and Hyrox training, nutrition is very, very different. But I think you just play around with the carb
Yeah.
intake.
Yeah.
Protein
So I
intake, I
hope it.
think you can maintain that. You can
Hmm.
maintain that. But again, like you mentioned, in terms of like strength, retaining muscle mass, again, it goes down to you play around with your carbs because of the intensity that you're doing with your runnings, as well as the trainings. Protein as well, if you want to increase maybe about 5 to 10 grams, or increase a little bit of calorie intake for that protein, and then again weigh yourself and see, taking this much of protein plus lifting heavy, does it helps you to increase even just 1% of muscle mass, because increasing
Mm.
muscle mass is not easy, you know.
Yeah,
So even if it's 1% or maintaining that muscle mass and get stronger, I think that's most important.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey, people, don't be worried about taking in carbs. Carbs are required,
Yes.
especially if you're doing high rocks. So, yeah,
Yes.
thank you,
You're welcome.
April, on stressing on that.
Okay, this has been intense, so let's lighten it up and we'll do
Okay.
some quick, fun, rapid fire questions. I'm
Okay.
going to shoot a few questions, just answer it with one word answers.
Okay.
Okay, April,
Mm-hmm.
sled push or burpee broad jumps? What's your personal hell?
Step push.
Sled push, okay. But one high rock station that you secretly love?
Wobbles.
I mean,
Mm.
again, we are going
No.
back.
Wow, you, I have to talk to you,
Yeah,
April.
that will be an offline conversation between Yasha and
It will
April.
be.
Mhm.
Okay, hydration of choice in between race. Like, do you take plain water, or electrolytes, or anything else? Like, you have a special drink that you drink in between?
I used to drink water in between during the race, but recently I take electrolyte gummies.
Gummies. Okay,
Yeah.
I heard only gummies, but yeah, electrolyte gummies.
Well, to be fair, water. I used to take water and gummy bears Haribo, but then recently, this was introduced by a friend of mine, a member of mine as well. I switched to electrolyte gummies. So that actually,
Hmm.
the past two races, Singapore and Sydney, it has helped me not drinking water at that station. But that also, I fuel with lots of water before the race already.
That's
Right.
So
a great advice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
And if you could go back and give yourself one tip before your first high rocks, what would that be?
Oh, I would say, April, you need to continue running and get your zone twos. Don't stop your running. Yeah.
Okay, and this question is to both Yasha and April, but April, first for you. One
Okay.
word to describe High Rocks.
Fun.
Fun. And Yasha, what was it? What's the one word for you to describe High Rocks?
Pride. It brought pride to me. I'm very proud of having done that first High Rocks.
Awesome, awesome. So this was the end to the rapid fire. So I think we have come to the end of the podcast. So Yasha, over to you for some closing thoughts, and then we'll wrap up.
No, I think it was a great session. And as we expected, I hope a lot of our podcast subscribers, listeners will be benefited with this special episode. Thank you, April. It
Thank
was such a
you.
pleasure for us to be able to host you. Shanti and I are leaving with such valuable information, and I'm sure our listeners will agree with this. I mean, what better gift can better than these nuggets of information from you on Singapore National Day, of course, right?
Yeah, thank you, April. I mean, how did you feel sharing your story here, and how was the whole experience of your first podcast?
I think first off, I'd like to thank Trust the Process with you, Yasha and Shanti, for reaching out to me and having me on board into this podcast as well. It's definitely fun. It is also inspiring as well because we are also reaching out to the women out there to not be afraid of fitness. And
Absolutely.
I think always continuously learning and get better at yourself, loving yourself, and knowing more about your body as well. And that I'm very thankful and I'm very proud and happy to be on board with the podcast with you ladies for National Day as well. But also in the future, I'd also like to see, more women um, trying out new things. Never be shy. We are stronger than who we think we are. I think that's the most empowering thing ever. But other than that, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think people, we will share your details, of course, on our social media. How can people reach out to you if they want to have you as their coach and connect with the Hyrox community? So, everyone, please watch out on our social media handle, Trust the Process. We'll be sharing all that information.
And with that, we will close today's episode and we would love your feedback and questions that you may have. So do not forget to subscribe and follow us Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and we are also on YouTube. So trust the process and thank you so much for tuning in. Take care and goodbye.